Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Manchester United 2, FC Sheriff 0. Not a classic by any stretch of the imagination. Not a game that Man United fans will remember for years to come. But another goal from Jadon Sancho. First goal of the season from Cristiano Ronaldo. And an important 3 points. An important 3 points because United lost that opening game. And you do not want to come second in your group. You don't want to have to go into a playoff game before the knockout stages even begins. It's an extra 2 matches in what is already a concertinaed season. So a good result for Man United tonight. They get to go into the international break on the back of a win. Still lots of improvements, I would say, needed from this team. But again, excellent performances from Christian Eriksen, who is, he's picking up the De Jong role. What De Jong was meant to come in and do for Man United, he is doing, and he's doing it very, very well indeed. His ability to control and dictate tempo, break the lines with his passing, have been absolutely brilliant. And look, is he as good a footballer overall as a Paul Pogba? No, but he's coming in and he's replaced him well with a free transfer. Jadon Sancho with another goal, of course, reacting to Gareth Southgate leaving him out. And I think that's what's massive. That's what was palpable for me today is he goes and responds. Could have had a second goal, well cleared off the line, but that puts him on, 4 goals for the season this year, already beating last year's tally, and just so much more influential, so much more of a thorn in the side of opponents now compared to this time 12 months ago. So really happy for those two. Look, decent performances across the back line were never really troubled. A few long shots. The midfield outside the opening 10, 11 minutes were fine. There was a few counter attacks, but that's about it. Like, I'm not going to write home any more than that. I still want to see a lot more from Anthony. I'm still I know he won the penalty tonight. I'm still a little bit underwhelmed. I still want to see him do a little bit more. Sorry, is it 3 goals for Sancho? I don't know why I thought it was 4. I don't know why I thought it was 4. 3 goals. Sorry, my apologies. But I want to see more from Anthony. I want to see him dribble at a few players. We haven't really seen enough of him dribbling at individuals and trying to beat them yet. Very safe passing, very much keeping the ball moving, keeps his possession at the right times. But I want to see a little bit more from him. And I was also impressed with Casemiro when he came off the bench. And I feel like with Casemiro, he's obviously adapting to the Ten Hag way of playing, and he hasn't been, the fact that McTominay keeps getting picked over him, I keep seeing people annoyed on the timeline. There's a reason, there's a rationale clearly for that from Erik Ten Hag. And I personally do want to see that change. I do want to see Casemiro become more of a mainstay in the Manchester United team. But I'm also pretty sure that's going to happen. I'm also pretty sure that after the international break, of course, their next game back is the Manchester derby. I've got a feeling he might start in that game. I've got a feeling he might be in that team, ready, raring to go. And what a big, big event that is going to be. Another massive acid test for this Manchester United team. Let's take a look here at some of the comments that are coming through from you all. Sancho is safe as well. Plays like a coward is what. It's funny, really, as Sancho starts to improve, starts to influence games, starts to score. Now he's a coward. Last year was a flop. Now that he's delivering, he's a coward. I don't think he's a coward at all. I think he plays his style of football. He isn't. People expect him to play like St. Maximin. Oh, why ain't he 20 man up? There are times last season where he was one-on-one with defenders and he weren't taking them on. And he's doing that far more this year. You can see it. Now, maybe the statistics of completed dribbles aren't the same. I don't really understand what you have to actually do to complete a dribble. I'd love a statistician to actually break that down. But I see him beating men. I see him taking chances. Should have got a brace today. He didn't quite do it, but that's 3 goals for him this season. He's growing in influence in the team that is in massive transition as well. So I'm very happy with him personally. Anthony laughed my ass off. How is he 100 million? Can't get past anyone. Well, again, I'm not going to judge Anthony after a few games, but I'm going to say I want to see a little bit more from him. He's been tidy in possession at times, and he does play the right balls more often than not. But I do want to see a little bit more of him be a bit more penetrative. And the Man United team in general, there were times where I was thinking in the second half we were more attacking, and we probably should have scored some goals in the second half. Bruno had an opportunity that was well saved, but I want to see us be a little braver. I want to see us push forward and push into the attack a little bit more. But we have to remember, how many games are we now in? Is it 6 league games, 2 Europa League? So we're 8 games in to the Ten Hag revolution. We're 8 games in. We've won 5 of them. I'm quite happy with that. I'm quite happy. I'm not happy with the 3 defeats and the performances in the first 2 games, but overall, I'm happy with the progression so far. Anyone expecting us to play to the peak of our powers inside the first 9 games, 9 games with a new manager, they're off their rockers. They're off their rockers, in my opinion. But we do have to demand for a little bit more, no doubt. Terrible in the final third, bad decision making, poor passing, no off the ball runs. We need to improve in our attack. But I think that's about the balance. I think that Antony and Sancho are quite similar. Ronaldo isn't making them runs as much anymore because of his age. This is where the club needs to get Martial and Rashford fit. And Rashford's a prime example of a player that gets a lot of stick, but he runs off the shoulder of fullbacks or centre backs, depending upon his position, creates space. It pulls people out of position, and more of that is needed. So a little bit of imbalance today because of injuries, no doubt, but agree with your overarching thoughts and feelings there, my friend. Anthony has already scored. Yes, he has. I'm not saying Anthony's been bad. I just want to see a little bit more from him, and I've seen him take people on before, internationally and in the Eredivisie. And I'm not being funny. Today wasn't the Prem. We're playing against FC Sheriff, Woody FC. I wanted to see him be a little braver. Maybe he's been instructed to take his time. I don't know what the reason is. I just want to see him be a little bit braver. The guy's got a lot of silks, a lot of skills, a lot of technique, and I want to see a little bit more of it. Man United fans gassing up after beating a team that wouldn't even be good enough for the championship. Sancho is the most overrated player in the Prem. No one's getting gassed. Happy with one. No one has said it's the greatest performance in the world. Nice try. You'll never walk alone. Are you a bit upset that United have won more games than you this year? Is that what it is, my friend? There must be something in it. Try hard. That's like such a hard. You try such a bad attempt at trying to banter there, my friend. Try again. If you get me, I'll donate some money to charity. Try. Come on. Try better than that, my friend. Your parents are watching. They went to a lot of effort to bring you into this world. They're watching you, my friend. Try harder. Compared to the Ollie era, we are beating teams we should beat with a full strength team without any banana skins, controlling the game and much more comfortable. If we get a final, if we get to a final, I back our squad. We are much improved. And remember, you've still got to think that of the starting lineup tonight, I would say over the next couple of windows, I still think Delo gets replaced. I think De Gea eventually gets replaced. McTominay definitely does. In some degrees, even Eriksen, they'll look to replace Eriksen at some point. Ronaldo will eventually move on. So still 5 of the 11 that started tonight, I don't think in the space of the next couple of windows, summer windows I'm talking, will be Man United players anymore. This is the beginning of a journey. Man United fans don't need to forget it. And rivals, you can be as bitter as you want, but we're at the start of that window, start of that transition. And I'm loving it. I'm loving the fact that people are angry that we're at the beginning of a transition and they can't talk about us like they talk about Liverpool or Arsenal, who are there. They're ready to start challenging now. It's actually great to see. I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. Neeks and KJ are coming out with me now to have their say on tonight's game. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. If we hit 500 likes while we are live, I'm going to gift away some free memberships to you all tonight. So get that done right now, my people. Terry, tell this guy to check his stats. The same team that beat Real Madrid in the Champions League. Yeah, they did. I mean, look, to be fair, the manager's gone now. A number of their better players have left. So there is a caveat to that. But listen, remember, when Man United beat teams, they're rubbish. When Man United players score against teams, they're rubbish. Or there was a referee cheated, or Fergie paid the refs, or someone got in somebody's eyes, or the floodlights got in Jorginho's face, or the referee's a cheat, or it was raining. There's always a reason why to take credit away from Man United. We're the greatest Premier League teams of all time, the greatest Premier League players of all time, some of the greatest victories in the Premier League of all time, the greatest achievements in the Premier League of all time, and they're all diminished into being worth nothing nowadays. So why would you be surprised, my friend? That's what comes from being the biggest and the best team in Premier League history. Just learn to laugh and smile and embrace it. It's the way that it is. A good win, comfortable performance. Centre backs are 5-0. Only 2 goals conceded. The thing I like is, yes, we're not dominating, but controlling the tempo of the match. Yeah, and look, the difference between tonight looking like a demolition and looking like a comfortable, boring win was a couple of shots additional going in. And there were other chances where we could have scored. So if Bruno's shot at the beginning of the second half goes in and we win 3-0, it goes towards being a demolition job. So we do need to improve. We need to get better. But again, we're 8 games into our growth, and go back and look at what Liverpool did in their first eight games under Klopp. Go back and look what Arsenal did their first 8 games under Arteta, and then compare it. That's what I would do. I don't know. Maybe they were better. Maybe they were worse. I haven't gone and bothered look, but that's where we're at. Oh my Dizzy, Neeks, and KJ here with me now. Evening, gentlemen. How are you all doing?
Hey,
I'm all right.
not too bad at all, mate.
We love those standard preseason wins, boys. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
The mid-season friendly, yeah.
I just want to say, sorry, very quickly. I've had to take away mod privileges from most people because Sunburn's been out here blocking like mad, and I had over 4,000 people blocked from making comments, and something like 30 members blocked. So someone was out here as a rogue. I don't know who did it, so I've taken away mod privileges for a while because there's people like I was like, people ain't here anymore. Where's all my viewers gone? And 4,000 people have been blocked by mod, just like slowly but surely over time, which is a killer. So there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Stop doing that, people. But on to Man United, though. Literally, it felt like the team is Ten Hag took this opportunity to treat it like a preseason game, get the guys out there. They missed the weekend. They've missed 2 games now from the weekend. Obviously, the one coming up as well ain't happening. So it's like, screw it. Put all the guys on, use it as a chance to get used to the system again, used to them just playing with each other, and then we just move on. We got the 2 goals that we needed. Come half time, we was very comfortable, and it was nice. It was nice to see just Man United just being able to knock the ball around. You know what I mean? Like for a long time, we wouldn't be able to do that. So yeah, nothing exciting to say about the game itself. I'm happy for Sancho to score. Well, Ronaldo got his penalty, but going forward, we need our fluid attackers. Like we need Martial, we need Rashford up front. Ronaldo's just, his age is just caught up to him, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And he's just not as moving as quick as we would need him to. And Anthony, I think he's just adjusting to the team, you know, just in the way that we play over here. Like he can't just be the, like, I know you want the Samba skills, the sauce and stuff, but he can't just do that right now. He tried a little bit of it against Arsenal, first home game, I get it, but I think he's going to gradually just start understand how the team plays, because he's been trying some flicks and some passes where it's just no one's there. You know what I mean? So clearly he's like, oh crap, I need to get used to like how everyone plays and stuff. So yeah, I'm not really too concerned about this performance as like, oh, we was bad, so like we're not gonna go anywhere. It's just chilled.
Question, Neeks, are you enjoying seeing rivals? So you only played Toy Story FC. It's a nothing game. Why are you happy that you've won? Like I don't know what they expect. Do they expect us to be angry that we've won? I don't know.
I'd rather they say, are you happy that you won, than you lost. Because like when we lost to Sociedad, it was like, oh, David Silva comes back. Look, Man United, it was only a blip. Those 4 games didn't mean anything. I'm not saying those 4 games meant everything. It meant something, but it didn't mean everything. And like when we lose, there's no context applied. So you don't look at the fact that, you know, when we lost to Sociedad, there was 11 changes pretty much. No, maybe not 11, maybe about 7 changes. And players who hadn't played, some players played all season, some just come off the bench, some hadn't played since the second game. And Sociedad are a decent side.
And the most ridiculous penalty call you'll probably see.
Yeah, on top of that.
Yeah, on top of that.
So now when we play, we played our best side, give or take injuries and that kind of thing, availability. And we win comfortably, like we should. Now it's supposed to be, what do you want us to go back and be upset that we're in the Europa League? No, like we've accepted it from midpoint of last season. We were thinking about Conference League. Listen, last day of the season, me and KJ shamelessly we celebrated the fact that West Ham lost to, was it Brighton or Palace, whoever it was.
Yeah, Brighton. I think it was Brighton. Yeah.
So we accept we're in the Europa League. It is what it is, and until you get to the final, and if you don't win it, every game between now and that final is, you only beat. Because if you beat a Champions League team that dropped out, they dropped out of the Champions League. There is no winning unless you win it. So we just take it as it is, and we take the win, and we just keep on moving. I think Terry, you need to get some mods back in this place.
I'm about to say, listen, this guy saw there's no mods. It's like, oh, let's go.
In fairness, I just let it. I just let it go. I just let it go. It's all good for the algorithm. Spamming's actually good for the algorithm. I've been told. So my YouTube manager said that he went. Spammers are great for it. So just leave them. Yeah, I look at it a bit that way, and I love when we win these games, and everyone's angry that we've won a football match. Like, you got to remember, Man United have been therapy for rivals for 9 years. Whenever we're bad, we're like therapy. We cheer people up. And look, tonight wasn't even a classic. There was a couple of good performances, and one I did want to speak about is Jadon Sancho. Another goal. I thought another comfortable, good performance from him. How wrong is it that he's not in the England squad?
You're mute.
Sancho played today. Am I
No,
on mute?
you're back.
Okay. The first thing I always wanted to say, regardless of how he played today, was Gareth Southgate is a fraud. England will not win anything with Southgate as manager. Southgate is the most defensive, the most passive, the most cuck-ish manager, I might say, in the world. I might take Sven-Goran Eriksson back. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm not, man. England have the potential to have the most exciting attacking players in the world at the moment. Maybe minus Brazil. Am I missing anyone? France.
Brazil and France. Yeah.
And he chooses to pick 12 defenders. Instead, man, come on, bro. Come on, man. But yeah, Jadon Sancho is my guy. I love him. I'm not gonna lie. Is it biased? Yes. Has he been missing in some games? Absolutely. But do I care? No. Why? Because I love him. That's just how being a fan goes. He's my guy, you know. So I'm always gonna back him. But yeah, Southgate is a joke. He's a joke.
You know the thing with Sancho. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he deserves to be called up. And it doesn't mean, I'll explain why. It doesn't mean that I think, Southgate's squad is perfect. There's no issues with it. But I don't think Sancho is the least of that for me. And I'll tell you, the reason why I give it is that I'm going on the basis of the previous squad that Southgate picked, because that was the statement. Rashford and Sancho are recalled to the squad. So what have they done since they were last dropped, which I think we can all agree they deserve to be dropped because they were both poor last season for different reasons, but both poor. Has Sancho done enough to get called up in terms of the reason why he was initially called into the England? So on that basis, he hasn't returned to any kind of height. He's playing much better, but he ain't returned to this ain't Sancho. This ain't the Sancho that we really know. The only caveat to that is who's been called up in his place.
That's something I was gonna say. That literally, I was gonna say.
I don't think Sancho has done enough to warrant a call. But I think other players have done less that they deserve to be dropped. If you get what I'm saying,
and that's what I was gonna say. I was like, Sancho he's been good. He's getting better. It's just when you're bringing up flipping Jared Bowen, who this season
Jack Grealish.
You know what I mean? Jack Grealish, who spent most of the
last season he was as poor as Sancho, and this season he's done nothing.
You know what I mean? So like that's where I'm like, okay, Southgate, like I don't know what you're playing at here. Like I'm not too fussed that Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford haven't gone, for the fact that I need these men to stay away from any injuries as possible. With Rashford already injured, I don't need Sancho going on to no friendlies and getting themselves injured. So I'm cool for this one. World Cup squad, that might be different.
And this is the thing. I hope that when it comes to Sancho, and obviously Rashford's injured, so that's a bit different, but Sancho hasn't been called up. So then he needs to keep performing better to make sure he gets into the World Cup squad, which therefore means it's better for us. If he goes in there, gets it back in the squad, I'm back in, and he relaxes again, then we're going to have a problem, let alone England. Yeah. So as far as Man United is concerned, I think it's the right decision.
And then also, but then you eyebrow raises, because I know this is how boring this win was, because we're talking about the England squad and not flipping Man United. Maguire and Shaw are in, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I tell you, I know what I can assume what I know what you're about to say is about the fact that they are staples in the England team and have not put a foot wrong for England. I'm not disputing that. I'm just going by Gareth Southgate's words when it comes to form and the players. But then it changes for certain players. So
that was about to be my point. Yeah. My point was this: it makes sense that Sancho's not in the squad when. If it's based on he's going to pick people that haven't let him down. The same fans that go, that's why Sancho's not back in. Yes, he's been better maybe this year than Grealish. Yes, he's been better maybe this year than Bowen. There's a debate whether he's been better than Saka or not. I've been getting into it with Gooners online. They're saying, no, Saka's been great for us this year. I'm like, well, the Arsenal fans I communicate with or watch on socials have kind of moaned about his performances for them. What they're now saying is actually, even when he's bad for us, he's still better than Sancho. I think that's just cap. Yeah. But I look at it this way. If you're someone that thinks Maguire should be dropped because his club performances have been bad, and there's a lot of people that do, saying that Sancho shouldn't be back in the England squad based on current form of inside forwards is also wrong. And that for me is why I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm playing devil's advocate because I'm now seeing again for the 10,000th time this season, people yielding upon their morality to score points as opposed to just having honest football conversations. And it isn't banter because it's not funny. It's boring. It's banter. It's boring. Please try something else. It's a terrible joke. It's like Sancho deserves, based on the logic of Shaw and Maguire being dropped, to be in this squad. Taking it away from England, though, we are starting to see Sancho regain his confidence. And I think that's the key point. Sancho is nowhere near his ceiling. He is nowhere near his best, but he's starting to score goals. He's starting to influence games, and he's starting to enjoy the football again. And it's going to take time, which is why I said earlier, I'm looking to see more from Anthony. And I bet Anthony's walked into this Man United team and thought, it doesn't flow like Ajax. It doesn't have the same confidence of Ajax. It doesn't have the same movement and fluidity that Ajax has. It's going to take a little bit more time because Man United are not changing managers and keeping the same style. They are not doing a Bayern Munich. They are not doing what Ajax would actually do. Ajax are not playing different football this year compared to last year with Erik ten Hag. It's like for like. Of course, there are going to be subtle differences, but the overarching project is the same. Man United are building from absolute scratch from a footballing point of view again, and it's going to take time. And that's why you're going to have some performances like Sociedad. And there were some difficult moments tonight. But actually, we could have won the game 3-4, 5-0 if we're being absolutely honest. There was one long shot from distance that blindsided De Gea that maybe could have gone in. Apart from that, there was absolutely nothing, and we weren't under threat. And to a point earlier, we're starting to build some solidity at the back. 5 games that Varane and play together. We're not really conceding goals. We're barely conceding chances. Another clean sheet tonight. And it's getting better and better. And it's been tested against Arsenal, the best team in the league this year in terms of league standings. It's been tested against Liverpool, a team that battered us, 9-0 on aggregate last year. And it's been tested at everything in between. And they are coming up trumps. And this little partnership looks very good, I think.
Listen, last season, and KJ knows it, Varane is my guy. I remember when it was at the end of last season, it was the beginning of that in preseason. We're talking about players who kind of have clean slates and I remember I was like, Sancho, whatever. KJ's like, what about Varane? And I was like, I'm not sure. KJ's like, no, I know you're gonna give Varane a clean slate. Varane is a world-class defender. That's a fact. And this is when we signed him. But because of last season, which we had a terrible start, we had a terrible season as a club, he had a lot of injuries. People have thought this guy's finished. People have been crazy on the quality of this man. The guy is world class. He still gets picked for France, not just called up. He gets picked to start when people are talking about Saliba, and well done, Saliba. People are talking about, I don't know, who's all the other French?
The crazy Fofana and
Konate, who ain't getting called up. I know he's injured at the moment. Laporte, who couldn't even get into the France squad. He has to go play for Spain. Like, Varane is the staple there. People say, it's Umtitu's been carrying him. Ramos been carrying him. The man is a world-class defender. And we're seeing that this season. Yeah, go on.
And that's because the partnership is correct now. You know what I mean? He's got the right kind of partner with him. Like, Maguire, in the end, wasn't the guy to be next to him. I say this and I'll say it again. He needs a madman. He needs someone who's just insane next to him. You know what I mean?
Ramos.
Like, yeah, he needs a Ramos. Martinez is that guy. He'll just go into tackles. He'll go in and attack the ball when the oppositions are on it. Varane's like, okay, cool, you do that. I'll cover the spaces.
Varane ain't here to get him, like, he ain't here to get dirty.
Oh, he's a pretty boy, bro. He's a pretty boy. He's here to get rough up, bro.
But boys, this is exactly what it was like to a degree with Rio and Vidic. Now, Rio would probably go, no, I got stuck in. But no, Vidic did the dirty work. Rio was the Rolls Royce, and that's what it was. You literally had a dirt bike and a Rolls Royce. And do you know what I mean? Sometimes you need one or the other. One was the Land Rover going over the bumps, doing all the dirty work, taking the dogs for a walk. And then you had the Rolls Royce that you go out to dinner with the missus with. And you need that combination. And it's funny, really, because you even get it in the midfield. So I think Christian Eriksen in that deeper role has been, I'm going to say, very good. I'm not going to say world class. I'm not going to say the best we've seen, but he progresses that ball through the lines from a deep position. But he, unlike Pogba that could do that part, he's disciplined, stays in his position, doesn't veer off in other areas, does the right thing. And his level of performances are improving McTominay. And more so, they're improving Bruno. And that's because suddenly Bruno doesn't have to have the responsibility of being the person to try and maintain possession, control the tempo, and break the lines with his passes, which isn't his strength. And this has been Man United's problem for a long time. Lack of balance. You have players competing in and playing in roles that they're not that good at doing, or that isn't their specialism, and it creates problems. And it's been square pegs in round holes at this club for a decade, and we are nowhere near fixed, and there is a long, long way to go. But we're seeing these green shoots of hope and saying, okay, well, that partnership's working. You know, we're seeing the midfield now start to be a little bit more conducive. Now, once Casemiro comes in and replaces Scott McTominay, which you will do, you'll then see it go, the midfield go to a slightly, an even a higher level, because then you've got an absolute world-class DM next to a very good ball-playing midfielder, as opposed to a good squad player in McTominay is what he is. But having said that, we sit there and we're sitting there and we're praising the centre backs for how good they've been in these in the games they've played together. They've had Scott McTominay and Eriksen in front of them.
What is this
results? So it's been good. It's been good.
With McTominay, it's so funny how life works out. I'll tell you, this man has been slandered, dragged from pillar to post, and
by me. I was one of
by everyone, by the whole
everybody,
family.
boy.
I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying this is a fact. Man United fan base, rightly, for most of the time, wrongly at other times, have dragged him from pillar to post. But right now, we play the second team against Sociedad. McTominay is rested. We play a first team today. McTominay starts and is taken off at half time to rest. Like, McTominay is now rested because he's so key to Ten Hag's plans at the moment. Now, of course, I hope that Casemiro is going to take that position. I expect him to take it. But at the moment, while McTominay is keeping Casemiro on the bench, I'm riding it, because this is not supposed to happen. McTominay is supposed to be out of this team, in play training with the under-23s. Like, he's not supposed to be here. But he's playing so good right now. He's playing so good.
And the thing, he's been better than Casemiro. He has.
He has.
No, he's on merit.
When I've watched them play, I'm like, rah. I want Scott on the pitch, because Casemiro, he's adapting. Some of his passes are loose, you know what I mean? Some of his touches are off. Like, you can tell he's still taking his time, and cool. I can deal with that. But if we're being real, I'm like, but it's not like McTominay is doing that also and then getting picked over him. He's actually just been better than him. Like, he has.
You know what's funny? What's it called? When we signed Casemiro, or before we signed him, and we said we need a DM, everybody would have swore up and down that out of the McFred partnership, it would have been Fred starting and McTominay on the bench.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Fred hasn't seen the pitch because McTominay has been balling low-key. And neither has Casemiro, funnily enough. And I mean, it shows how much fans know about football for real.
But do you know what that comes down to, though? That's also because what people tend to do, we all do it to a certain degree, is they project as opposed to give their honest opinions. They say what, and we had a gal this week say, you'll see no difference in Chelsea under Potter in the opening however many games. It's impossible. You're only saying that because you didn't see any change in Arsenal when Arteta first came in. So it's like you want to make it the thing that no manager imprints their identity straight away. And we know that it's just different for different managers. It doesn't make Arteta any worse or better. It's just how it is you're projecting. The same thing here. I know for a fact a manager that knows ball would never pick McTominay because my ball knowledge tells me that. And as I said all along, there'd be a handful of players that, whether it's short, medium, or long term, would improve under this manager and stay in the team. So the one that shocked me the most is I didn't think Delot would look as good as he has been. And he's been very, very good. So I'm wrong about that. I had predicted McTominay would be someone, at least in the first year, who the manager would like, respect, play, and pick and would improve. Because he has one thing that some of our more talented players in the past haven't had, and that's the want to listen, do exactly what the manager tells him, and work hard. He also has the physicality that we need. You take Scott McTominay out this team, you lose one of their biggest physical presence and height from corners, which is also key, and you can't discount that.
Checks.
And you've seen it with other players. Bruno is getting better. Rashford getting back to where we want him to be. Sancho improving. The problem you've got with some Man United fans is they will want to ignore the improvements in certain players and highlight others. That are Delo, Sancho. I told you we needed a manager who's a great coach. You're going to speak McTominay? You're going to speak Rashford? They won't do it. For me, there's always going to be a few players. Now, I thought maybe Maguire would be one. But clearly, Maguire and Shaw are not. They're ones who, like, the manager clearly saw in those games where we were losing. Like,
you generally suck.
You two are legitimately part of the problem that we've got. And equally, as you say, Casemiro will eventually, in my opinion, out
100%.
dominate. And I also feel like over the next couple of windows, I think like players like Rashford could be replaced. I feel like players like, I actually think, listen, if we went and signed De Jong in January, I'm just making this up now, I think that's Eriksen being pushed down the pecking order. But I don't care as long as my team improves. But I've been really impressed with Scott McTominay because there was so much pressure on him. I mean, the guy is like, he must have the thickest skin in the Man United squad to take the level of crap he gets. I saw this guy recently post a picture of him out with his grandfather or great-grandfather, all his family there. I read the first 10 replies, and it made me embarrassed to be a human being. I would just thought to myself, the vile nature of those replies is horrible. Worse, listen, it's like, look, Pogba gets his crap. I mean, Pogba's own brother's trying to kidnap him in a minute. That guy's gone through crap. You know, Rashford gets crap. But imagine posting a picture with your elderly grandfather, and all you get from the first 10 people that reply is telling you how bad a footballer you are. And I'm being very, very nice when I say that. So for him to maintain professionalism, maintain fitness, and to perform like this, I'm really just impressed with him. Do I want him to be our main centre back for the next 5 years? No, but yeah, he's been really, really good. There's no doubt.
I respect him, and his mentality is something that you can clearly see the squad like. He's not like he's disliked in the dressing room. Like Maguire, you can kind of tell there's a bit of
they don't respect him. They don't respect him.
There's a bit of like, are you the guy? But with Scott McTominay, you see him the way he is with like. He generally looks like the squad just like him as his personality. So you can't bash the guy for his strengths. It's like you can't highlight his strengths. So why? I just don't get why people love to bash him so much. Like when he's good, just say he's good. When he's bad, say he's bad. It's just simple as that.
Yeah. I've got some super chats here. Malacia, man of the match. Martinez second. Good. Such a good back line.
Malacia.
Oh yeah. Listen. I want to chat about him. Go on to the next one, Terry. Go on to the next one. We'll come back to him.
Okay, we'll come back to him. Terrible in the final third, bad decision making, poor passing, off the ball runs. We need to improve. I think I've already done that one, but thank you.
I agree with that.
Josh here, who's a member, says surely having Sancho in the England bench as a super sub would be a strategy going into the World Cup. Sancho better than Bowen and Grealish. Luke Shaw hasn't played this year either until today.
The first game of the season against
he got hooked at the second half.
Against Brentford.
Hear you on that. Abdul here says Terry, you're gassed. Sancho is the best English inside forward. He's top class. Well, he is top class, and I think I want to go back to my tweet when I tweeted that. I want to go back to what I exactly said because I think you might be. You definitely have. You twisted my words. I thought so. I said best English inside forward this season. So again, what you're doing there, Abdul, is you're leaving out the important part, which is called context. And I do think he's been the best inside forward out of all the English players so far this season. In fairness, Bowen hasn't been that great. Grealish has been flopping. I think Saka, for his standards, hasn't been that good. Sterling's been a little bit like Sancho, where he hasn't been great in every game, but the goals and that are still there. And for me, you all know, scoring goals, listen, you can be like a thorn in the side all game, but if your passes ain't coming off and your shots ain't going in, and then Sancho bangs in the winner, been more important. Like we can't keep
just before we go back to Malacia, Terry want to talk about it. In terms of Sancho, I think as we improve under Ten Hag in terms of playing the way that Ten Hag wants, I think we're going to see a much better Sancho. Because if you realize, I think what you're saying, people saying 3 goals. What's his 3 goals he scored? I know he scored against Liverpool
today, Liverpool.
Lester's goal.
Leicester
Oh,
got the winner
Leicester,
against
okay.
Leicester. The winner
But,
against Leicester.
okay,
Yeah.
outside the Leicester one, so the other two, both of those goals have come from short, quick interplay around the edge of the area. Those little quick 1-2 give and go. And that's why a lot of times people say, oh, Sancho gets the ball and passes it side or passes it back. Because his form of beating his man is not necessarily dribbling past them or this, running off the shoulder and the ball through the middle. It's the 1-2, give and go, end up on the other side of the defender. And that's the kind of play that he does like. And it's the kind of play that hopefully we're going to end up playing under Ten Hag when we can dominate possession 60-65%, camping on the edge of the box, where you're going to need that little short interplay. And it's no surprise or coincidence that his 2 out of 3 goals have come just from that. The one against Liverpool where he sat him down, and the one today was a beautifully worked team goal. And then he has the composure in the area to just wait, bring it into space and slot it past the keeper. So I think Sancho will get better as we get better.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the one thing that kind of hindered him is we haven't really had, like, Rashford has done well in the centre forward position in terms of like running in behind, but he's not a centre forward. And Ronaldo's not really been at it. Like, there hasn't been a centre forward for our wide men to find. Does that make sense? That we haven't been playing like that. So it's and I think Martial, when he returns, if he returns, again, that's a short-term option for the club. We know that. You'll then see the ability to create more opportunities and chances. And the great thing is for us, I'm so gutted that Palace and Leeds have been called off because I really fancied us in those games. And we now obviously go into a 2-week break pretty much until we play again, just over 2 weeks. And it's annoying because we just started to improve. And it was almost, sometimes in a game of football, you can come up towards half time and one team might really need it because they're being peppered. Another team, they're in the ascendancy and you don't want it to end. That's how I kind of feel right now. I feel like Man United need to keep playing. Like, I don't want us stopping because players like him are just starting to get back to their best. And I think people have got to understand, rivals won't want to hear this because they'll see it as an excuse, but it's a fact. This Man United team became so bad last year. It was the worst performing Man United team in the history of the Premier League. 30 years, the worst team. And they've had to be dragged up by their bootstraps. And this isn't a team that was winning titles that then had a terrible year. This was a team that got exponentially worse each year for a decade. We might have had some seasons where we jumped up in the league, but in terms of the style of our football, the consistency, we've just been awful. We've been getting worse and worse and worse. And each dip has been worse than the last dip. So to get out of where we were, I've been impressed really with the start to this season. However, just before Abdul twists my words again, me saying I've been impressed doesn't mean I think we're going to win the league. It just means I can see some green shoots of hope. But there isn't just a long way to go. There are seasons to go until we are ready to start talking about being one of the best teams in England again. 2 seasons minimum because of the teams that are ahead of us. But I'm happy with the progression, and to win 5 games out of the last 6. When was the last time we did that? We don't. I'm happy.
And you know what's going to happen? We're going to play City and we're probably going to lose. And everybody's going to be like, see, I told you you were too soon. It's all for Gazy. It's all a lie.
Told you worse than City.
Who have you really faced? You know what I mean? You faced pretenders Arsenal and injury-stricken Liverpool. You know what I mean?
Like, perfect. You can write the narrative right now.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what you get. When we went into the Liverpool game, it was they're going to batter you 4-5-6-0 again. After the match, it was but Liverpool have been poor at the start of this season. With Arsenal, it was. I mean, Arsenal fans, and I mean it with respect, they came to Old Trafford licking them lips. Do you know what I mean? When someone's eating too much chicken, they got greasy fingers and the face all greasy. That was them before that game. It's gonna be another feast for us today, and it didn't happen. And listen, if we can beat Man City, it'd be amazing. But I'm not gonna count my chickens just yet. Joshua Jack here says, I know you're not happy about the break, but given that we've got injuries in the team and we've got 13 games left to the World Cup, I'm here for it. That's a good point, though. Hopefully we can get more. I want Rashford and Sancho to go to the World Cup because they're Man United players. Equally, though, if none of our squad gets picked for their cup countries, it's going to help us in the league. Like, from a fan point of view, I'd be happy about that. I would be happy. Hold that L Southgate. My star boy is the best English winner, is what Ty has got to say here. Obviously, talking about the man himself, Jadon Sancho. Yes, hello. That'd be good.
Quick thing though, Ronaldo looks dusted, bro. It's so sad.
Listen, that's another conversation I want to have. But like, I wanted to talk
He ain't
about
had a
Malacia because, like,
preseason. Relax.
all right, nah, Neeks. Let it go, bro. Let it go. I want to chat about the Malacia, innit? Like,
Just quickly on
because-
Ronaldo. But the reason Ronaldo looks dusted is because he didn't have preseason, and I mean this at this stage. I think his body is just you can hit a wall. And he's hit a wall and he didn't do preseason. And I think he's thought, oh my God, I can't. Like, it's one of them ones, right? Like, how old are you now, Neeks? Something me asking.
Not 37. I'm 31.
You're 31. Have you had yet one of those hangovers where you're like, oh, a year ago, this didn't do this to me?
As Carnival. That was me. And I was like, damn, this is not how I felt last time I went Carnival.
And I'm 5 years older than you. This happens a lot. This happens now if I drink too much Pepsi. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, I can't handle this. I ate too much food the other weekend. I thought I had to go to hospital. Like, your body changes as you get older. And I think Ronaldo skipping preseason to get his move away, I think that in itself, and the pressure that comes with that, the pressure of like having to now deliver, like to prove you really want to be here, I think it's impacting him. But not mentally, Malacia. You want to speak about Malacia? Go for it.
Yeah, because he's been getting
out
a lot.
already?
Huh?
Are you Malacia out already?
No.
I'm joking.
I was about to say, like, but people are though. Like, people are Malacia out. Like, I've been seeing it like more and more saying this guy's not good. Shaw's better than him. Like, bring back. I'm just like, but wait.
Cocaine.
This guy. Okay, Malacia is very raw. Like, he is very raw. So he's gonna need time. He's gonna need games to adjust to like when he's supposed to tackle, because he's an aggressive defender. You can clearly tell that Ten Hag said, Malacia, you're the more defensive left back or defensive fullback, and Delo, you're the one that can go forward a bit more and do what you do. Cool, I'm cool with that. So that means when he's defending, he has to make sure he's not causing as many fouls as he is and causing as many free kicks as he is, because he is causing quite a bit. And there are some sloppy play at times. But to say that he deserves to be dropped for Luke Shaw, who has done nothing, absolutely nothing, to warrant a starting spot at Man United in 2022 is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. This you give this young man the chance that Luke Shaw was given how many years ago? You know, he's
a year away from a testimonial.
Like literally, it's like if we had Tellers, if we had like a Teo Hernandez, if we had someone of that caliber at left back, I would hear it. Like, okay, cool, this young kid's had his chance, take him out the firing line. But we've literally got no one else. Like, I'm not hearing it. So Malacia outers are, for me, I think they're strange. I think that either Luke Shaw stands that can't accept the fact that his time is coming to an end, or they're like these weird fans that don't know what time is. Like, it's just like, well, if he starts, he has to be sick. Like it's FIFA. When I buy Malacia on FIFA, I know what I'm getting. You know what I mean? When I start Malacia in real life, you don't know what you're getting because it's football. You know what I mean? It's real life. Like, Malacia out is a weird. I'm seeing it.
You know what it is? It's like Terry says, man. It's them fungus fans. I think because relatively speaking, there's been nothing to be unhappy about at United. You have to find something. I mean,
no, DZ, correct that. There is something to be unhappy about. Those pagans, bro. Like,
oh yeah, and the Glazers, minus the Glazers, of course. But that's a constant. That doesn't change. But I was up till 2 a.m. arguing with Johnny in the one of the United chats. About don't ask me why, fam. I had time that day. I don't know what was going on, but he was arguing Fernandes needs to be dropped for Donny van der Beek, and I was but I don't understand why. And I feel like it's the same thing with the Malacia people like that, saying that Shaw needs to come back. We haven't lost. We've been keeping clean sheets. I don't even understand why this is a conversation for real. Why do we need to be up in arms about anything?
This is the crazy thing. Like, Malacia has been dribbled past a couple of times where you think, a little bit naive there. But he's this is the thing with that statistic. He's been dribbled past. But has it led to a problem? No, because he's got the recovery speed to recover that situation. But has he been dribbled past exponentially more than the best fullbacks in the league? He's around 0.8 times per game. Cancelo's around 0.5 times per game. So it isn't exponential. Is it exponential? Is that the word?
Exponential.
Exponential. Sorry, my grammar is my ability to say
why it
words.
leaks.
Awful.
It's
But
why it
you
leaks.
know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
But he isn't being dribbled past too much. He's making mistakes, but he needs game time to become better at that as an example. So it's very weird. But people have got this weird kind of thing sometimes, like, if a player gets dribbled past, that makes him bad. Most fullbacks will get dribbled past. Most forward-thinking fullbacks, which is what Malacia is, will get caught out of position at times. However, it isn't like he's playing awfully. You know, he isn't doing what Trent's doing and daydreaming. When he loses a man, what does he do? He runs after him, gets back, leans on him. He defends well in that regard. Your point about Donny coming in for Bruno's going for a weird period where he's actually playing quite well in games. He isn't really getting as many goals or assists as he used to, but he's contributing. The fact is, our new manager has dropped the players from the team who he felt were hindering and holding us back. And he's keeping people in the team at this moment in time that can improve us. And one of the funniest things, I know Donny's out with a little injury now, but I did find it funny when Donny wasn't getting picked for him, because again, he was another one where these same United fans sat there in millions of spaces, millions of call-in shows and said a competent manager would always pick Donny over Bruno every day of the week. And all these individuals are doing is they're dying on that hill. They are dying on that hill for their either their favorite player or to try and oust someone from the team they just dislike. Because what they're desperate for, I'm talking more than Malacia, is to be right about something. Fans have become so obsessed about, I have to be right. My opinion has to be right. I mean, I'm kind of doing it now on Twitter with George, who's an Arsenal fan, for a bit of a laugh, because he told me there wasn't one metric this season that Saka, that Sancho is better in than Saka. So I've just said goals, and now he's saying it's not per minute. And I'm like, well, Saka played 20 more minutes than him in all comps. And then they're all saying, well, what about goals and assists combined? I'm like, but the point was
one metric.
One metric. Yeah.
One metric. Like, the point is, like, I think he's been better this year. Like, you don't, like, it isn't that deep, but people are so desperate to be right. I had it earlier. Man like Fuad, love Fuad, great guy. He wrote a tweet and he started talking about, like, how I won't read the last line, but he spoke about how, like, Harry Kane's like moving towards GOAT conversations, and I basically said you can't.
What?
Yeah. I basically said you can't be a GOAT. You can't even talk to the GOATs until you've started winning
Premier League goals,
medals and Champions Leagues and winning trophies. You can't do it, because even within that, like, such a deeper point. I want to talk about this on the Top 6 show tomorrow, but like, the deeper point is, the question I would ask is, how has Harry Kane performed in pressured seasons where his team were in title races? The answer is he hasn't, right? Because he hasn't been in them. So you don't know how a player reacts in those pressurized environments until they're in it. You have to go through that, deliver within it to be a GOAT, as an example, right? But then Fuad kind of said, like, in the debate of trying to be right, and it's all fun and games, but sort of like, why are you even bringing up like Omri and GOATs? Like, because your original tweet said that Harry Kane is close to surpassing Rooney and will soon catch the GOAT. So it was almost like you would, like, people do. It's like, well, are you going to go back to the original tweet? What is it you're saying? And that's what you're getting with people with Malacia. It's like they'll find one thing that they want to play out the team for, and they won't let it go. Until he stops getting dribbled past, I want him out the team. Well, the point is, he's always going to get fullbacks always get dribbled past. That way, you're always right.
Defense is an unforgiving role, because all you're doing is firefighting. There's no, like, obviously, if you're attacking, you can get some assists, you can get a goal from a corner, whatever. But as a defender, your job is to prevent things from happening. And it's impossible to prevent everything from happening. Therefore, something's going to happen. And when it happens, oh, you're at fault. Oh, it's happened to you. But that's your role. Your role, it's unforgiving. What I like about Malacia, because I think the Arsenal game was his toughest game today. Saka did a good job.
Wait, cooked him that one time, fam.
Yeah, the one point where the ball fell out in the area, and Malacia went out. I think he thought he was going to go to Erdogan, and Saka just brought it in.
Yeah, he cut back away
and then shot past the post, but he didn't score. But Malacia kept going all game from minute 1 to minute 9. That's what we get every game. Today, on the turn, I think he went in for a tackle, and the guy kind of just went past him and he dragged him back. Lucky not to get booked, to be honest. Like his second or second foul, probably his third, but only 2 had been given. But he's got that energy because he's always trying to do something. Whether he's going to try and engage the attacker, whether he's going to try and get the ball forward, he's always trying. There's no moment where he's just passive. And that's what you get from Shaw. Whether sometimes going forward, he's very passive, very lackadaisical in terms of getting forward. Alex Tellez, very passive and lackadaisical when it comes to defending. Malacia is action. He's all action. And I think he's going to improve. And if he does improve with his attitude already to both attack and defense, we're going to have a very, very good fullback on our
And you know what, yeah? And I'll say this. I personally don't think Jadon Sancho is the partner for him on that left-hand flank.
No, I agree.
I think, and if you're going to do anything, it'll be a Rashford or it'll be an Anthony, a player that loves to do the wing play by themselves. I love that because he's been asked to do the defense, kind of the defensive role, more staying back. The left-hand side, the winger on the left-hand side is normally the one who has to try and do it by himself. Whereas on the right-hand side, it's Delo is basically there all the time. And like you said, as you analyze Sancho, he likes the 1-2s. He likes to be interplaying with his fullback. Malacia won't do that all the time. Whereas for me, Delo will be there most of the time. So I feel like if you've got a player like a Rashford, like an Anthony, who's out there who wants to have that space to do what they want. Because when Rashford used to see Luke Shaw on the overlap, man was like, nah. We're not doing that today. You know what I mean? So allow those kind of players to have that space to do those things where Malacia can be like, all right, cool. I'll be there if the ball comes out so I can recycle it, I can recover it, and you guys do what you're doing. And then Jadon Sancho on the right can do his thing with Delo and do the interlinking, the interplay, because they're two very good, technically gifted footballers. That's just my 2 pence on it. I don't think for Man United, Jadon Sancho on the left is actually like the best thing, because he's just left out there by himself.
Yeah, I mean, I quite, again, it depends who we look at as a long-term striker. I think we looked our best in pre-season, and I liked how we looked when Martial came on in the second half against Liverpool because there was fluidity. And I go back, and I've been wanting this now for over a decade, almost a decade and a half now that I've been asking for this. But essentially, what I really want is a front three that are fluid. I want a front three that are interchangeable. When we had Tevez, Ronaldo, and Rooney, it was the best front three combination. I feel really disrespectful to Calypso football, but it's the best combination I've ever seen at Man United in my lifetime because Tevez, Ronaldo, and Rooney could go in any direction, could play in any role. And I listen, Rashford, Sancho, and Martial are not as talented as those three, but the concept is the same. What I would then want is to build that, and then over a course of a few windows, is you add in the additional quality to try. I don't know if it's even possible to get a front three as good as that again, because you've got the greatest footballer of all time in that front three, and that's probably not going to happen again. You've got one of the greatest Man United players of all time in Ronaldo, like in Rooney. That's also probably not going to happen again. But that's what you need to strive to. And I think that kind of fluid front three with the way Ten Hag plays could be key. But Ten Hag also likes a number 9. He loves a number 9, someone that can hold up the ball. But the number 9 helps because what you then do is you hold that ball up. And I would love to see a competent number 9 that can score, but can also hold that ball up and then play the Rashfords, the Sanchos, the Antonys, the Brunos, the Donnies who are making runs from deep into play,
Let's say you want Ivan Toney, stop skirting.
Boy, yes.
I love Ivan Toney.
I know you do.
Bring him to La Carrington, man. Come on.
As long as it's not Harry Kane, I'll be fine.
Another one of my English. Has he been called up?
He's been called up.
One of my English boys. Another one of my English boys.
Listen. Ivan Toney's one of them brothers. He'll get that one England cap, and then we'll never see him ever again. It's just destined. It's just destined to happen.
Well, he turned down Jamaica last year. So,
okay, Ivan, we need to chat.
Now, boy.
We need to chat, Ivan. Nah, that's not
crazy.
cool.
At the time when going a bit off topic, he turned it down, and Max Aarons turned it down at the same time. And I'm looking at Max Aarons like, brother,
you're not getting in there.
27 right backs in front of you. What are you doing? Like, let's be real now.
You may as well go.
Come on, that is the worst position. That is the position where you just play for someone else because you're not getting in. The people who should get in can't even get in. So just forget about it.
Yeah, it ain't didn't Damari Gray, didn't that fall through as well? Like we're supposed to sign him up and he didn't.
There was a few of them. Danny Simpson was one back.
Either way, yeah.
But you got Ravel Morrison though, so that's cool.
Yeah. And
but this is the problem with just not just Jamaican football, but international football. when it comes to like the smaller nations. You have players who are legible, but they want to play for the France, they want to play for the England, they want to play for the Germany, and like you can't, my brother. Like you won't be able to get in. But they're like, if I try hard enough, I can. And they wait until the 29 over the hill. It's like, yeah, oh now we'll switch to England. It's like
you had a private international career.
Yeah.
No, you were just
and then they're like, why did you sign up for Jamaica? Oh, you know, my grandparents, man, like I'm doing it for them. We'll probably do it for them 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like
Zaha got the memo early. I think that's early enough anyway. But he held out for England for a bit. I think he got one cap and he came off the bench. Didn't get called for the next squad. He's like, I'm out.
None of this.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah, Tariq Lamptey, he saw the right back situation. He was like, nah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, you're not getting in. Forget it.
Exactly. I always like that when people like, especially people in the late 20s, they pick like a nation connected to a parent or a grandparent. And then people from like, I respect you so much for picking them. What? He ain't here. You know what I mean? If Antonio was good enough to play for England, he'd be playing for England. Like, no, he just would. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I remember when
if Leon Bailey was good enough to play for Germany, he'd have taken that passport, brother, and played for Germany.
To be fair, Leon Bailey was born in.
I know.
Yeah.
He was born in Jamaica.
Yeah, he's told.
He would only be eligible for Belgium as well because he was playing for Genk.
I hear that. But an update on the tweets with George. I pointed out to George that he told me that I'm changing the premise and I've gone to stats. And I responded, I didn't change the premise with stats. You threw stats into it. He's then come back going, yeah, that's true. You just lied that Sancho was more influential after claiming stats weren't everything. Wait. I'm like, well, actually, it's not a lie to say I think a player is more influential. He then goes on to say, you're right. He has scored one more goal in the league, but that's all that's correct after you switch the premise back and forth. And I'm responding with, why are you getting rude and calling me a liar, first of all? Because you definitely wouldn't do that to my face. 100% George would never stand up to my face and do that. He then said, it is an opinion. Plus, you mentioned stats, not me. So I did not change the premise at all. I just responded to you. I think that's going to be my response to him. This is the thing. It's the third time he's got really rude and nasty now in his tweets. And I didn't even say, by the way, I didn't even say Saka should be dropped from the England squad. I just said that I think Sancho this season has been better than Saka. I didn't even mention Saka first. I think I said Bowen, Grealish, and Saka, and he should be in the England squad. I've literally said in 3 responses, and the Arsenal fans are ignoring this. I don't want Saka dropped from the England team. I'm just stating I think Sancho's been better than all 3. But I'm willing to concede, by the way, in this argument that Saka's been better than him. He should still be in the England squad. It's not even about Saka versus Sancho. It's about Sancho being in the England squad. Somebody's grown. This man's a fucking doctor. He's a doctor. The man's a doctor. And he's doing this online. Mad.
Ain't this the same George that said Emil Smith-Rowe was a world-class player?
No, he said Emil Smith-Rowe will become one of the top 10 best players in the world.
Ah, that was the one. I thought so.
In that same argument, he was right in saying that he thought that Kai Havertz would flop. So that part was right. But and that's my point. Like, you're a liar because Emil Smith-Rowe not top 10 in the world. He's not a liar. It's an opinion. It's so weird to call someone a liar over an opinion.
Shouts to George.
George, if you want to come on and speak, call me a liar face to face. Feel free to, my friend. But don't tweet and call me a liar when I know face to face you would not sit there and do it. You would sit there and say sorry for speaking like that. Stop being a big man. You're a doctor, bruv. You're a doctor. You ain't a gangster. Stop giving it the big one online. By the way, I'm not a gangster either. That's why I don't give it the big one online. Do you know what I mean? But there we go. Very strange response there from a doctor. But there we go. That's just me. I didn't even lie. I just gave an opinion. Victor Moses did that. Held out for England until he was up to 122, then switched to play for Nigeria. He was vital in winning us AFCON. Yeah, I'm not saying these players won't be like pivotal, but it's more when I see people celebrating, like, he's one of us.
21, 22, that's young compared to Antonio, who was like 30.
Yeah, almost 30. He was like, now I'll accept the fact that I will never play for England. Like,
that was just, Antonio was like, damn, I might want to go on a holiday to Jamaica. Let me give them some caps and say, yeah, one of you lot. That was it.
I think there should be an age limit where they stop. Like, if you don't switch, if you don't switch by this time,
you can't switch
by 24. That's it. Like,
no international. That's it. You're done.
Yeah,
and not for nothing.
35.
Not for nothing. If Southgate had some balls about him, he would have taken Mikel Antonio, one of those, either the Euros or something.
No. That's not that. That's no, because
I don't know.
You still had Tammy Abraham, who's I think ahead of Antonio.
Should have went too.
Ivan Ivan Toney now is ahead of Toney. I don't think back in what 2018, 2020, what Euros. Those
Vardy was struggling to get minutes. He retired. He was like,
you know what I mean? Like, so yeah,
no,
like
I can't
Antonio
get
had
that
no
Harry
chance.
Kane. What's going on?
My whole thing is, I don't care who goes. It has to be someone other than Harry Kane. Southgate isn't the answer. Harry Kane isn't the answer. I am so sorry, but we're not going to win anything with how the saying goes, that your captain goes as the manager goes. Like they're kind of like a package deal. The captain is like the on-field representative of the manager.
Reflects the manager off the field. Yeah.
Exactly. That's all I'm going to say. Harry Kane, Solskjaer, Southgate.
Wait. No. Talk about if they actually get rid of him, because I don't know if even if England lose, like get knocked out in like the quarters of the World Cup, I don't think he gets sacked. Even in the group stage, I don't know if he gets sacked.
No.
If he gets sacked, what are we saying? Wagwan Ali for England, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see who England actually go for, because the best English managers they're not leaving. Like Potter's not leaving Chelsea for England, and I doubt Eddie Howe would leave Newcastle unless he's feeling at the time that Newcastle's looking to move on. That's the only reason. Like you wouldn't leave a project like Newcastle.
You don't have to be English, but the FA are trying.
They don't have to be English, but I think their first port of call would be English.
Yeah, it's English.
And if there's no good enough English, whoever
Uniques, there is one who is free right now, and his name is Sean Dyche.
Listen, everyone that has tuned into us today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Make sure you smash the like button before you leave. Make sure you're subscribing. We're back tomorrow with more content. Top 6 show will be out in the evening, ahead of the last weekend of Premier League fixtures before the international break. Terry is fully concentrating on his war with George. I just reading my reply, and his replies. Joe's one of them things, right, ladies and gentlemen. This is a lesson on being gaslit. So he basically said to me, "I'm not getting rude. I just don't know why you keep switching your argument after claiming it was a rounded opinion. It's fine to have an opinion, but also can't refute it, and I call it biased when it is. But you didn't call it biased. You said I was a liar. You can call it biased. That's fine. But I'm not switching the arguments. I've gone back to him. I'm just going to go simple questions now with who mentioned stats and metrics, you or me? And that's the point. It's like, but then it's just weird. This is what wouldn't be a conversation. Imagine I make a point and then KJ says, I want to give you a stat. I'm like, no, we're talking about feelings, not stats. So they're irrelevant. We're going to have a conversation. I'm going to answer back to your stats. And then we'll go back to how I feel. That's a rounded conversation. I think what's happened is George has messed up by being too cocksure. Not one metric. I found one metric, and instead of going, shit, you got me there, Terry, he's now calling me a liar and names. But it's not my fault, George. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I think your patience needs you. Do you know what I mean? There's dying people in the world and all that jazz. Viewers, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all
Glazers
again.
out, baby. Let's go.
Thank you.